way we're going to actually continue to attract people is by taking away some of that repeat process, automating it and saying, yeah, but you get to do the fun stuff.
What's the fun stuff?
So for me, I realised as I said that, I was like, I'm going to sound like a complete nerd.
No, there's definitely fun stuff in finance. I'm just interested in your view on it.
So I love, like, for me, it's about working with a business to achieve their goals. What does that look like for them? What does actually their budget look like? And I love to be the challenger. So I work with a lot of businesses where I kind of go in on the board meetings and I challenge what they've said they're going to do, how they've said they're going to do it, if there's a better way, what does that look like? And I really enjoy that kind of to and fro and actually really interrogating their numbers and what they're doing and how they say they're going to do it, because that's really interesting.
In order to do that, how a finance controller for me has got to be quite commercial.
Yeah.
And to step from a finance controller to a CFO or a finance director, you've got to have a commercial edge to you, haven't you? You've got to have seen how businesses work. Now, how do you get that experience? I get working in industry, but working in industry just in a finance department doesn't necessarily give you that broader experience.
It doesn't. You have to work for, I mean, I got that experience from working for a variety of different companies and working with different people, working with different stakeholders. So I worked with private equity, I worked with owner managed, I worked with debt backed. That was fun.
What do you mean by debt backed?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So instead of private equity, it was debt funding.
Okay.
So basically the lenders were the owners.
Right.
So it's like private equity, but it's capital debt.
Is that because they'd kind of defaulted on your previous owner to default on the debt and therefore the lender took that on? Right, okay.
Yeah, so that was fun.
So presumably they just want their money back as quickly as possible and get out.
Yeah, so running a business with no money is a really interesting way to learn.
I bet.
Do you know what it is? It's a really interesting, and it is, and I learned a lot running a business, like running a finance team with no money.
That must be hugely stressful.
It's really, really stressful. We got an email on Christmas Eve saying it was a pay less notice from one of our big customers, and so if you issue a pay less notice, we've issued you a sales invoice, and they say, okay, we're going to pay this much less. The sales invoice was for 2.5 million, and they said we're going to pay you 0.
Merry Christmas.
And I just thought, I wish I hadn't opened that. Yeah, I mean, that is really stressful, but you learn a lot, and the reason you learn a lot is because you understand the inner workings and you strip out what's most important. So you learn a lot commercially from that way. And you just have to deal with so many people in the business. Trying to explain accruals to engineers was honestly one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. But getting people to own their numbers is really important. And you only learn that from working in industry. So we train people from practice. We take on apprentices, graduates. And I was concerned about that when we started it, because we very much had a industry-based model. So you work practice and industry. So I was like, I don't know how we're going to kind of get them to have the operational finance knowledge that we do. But actually put people out on secondment, and that works really well. So, so for some of the bigger businesses that we work with, they don't want a VFF because they've got like, say, 30, 40 people in their finance team. But we put some of our team out in secondment if they've got needs in the team. So they learn that way.
That's a good idea.
Really good idea.
I guess working in smaller companies as well makes you more rounded, because
it does.
You have to be a bit of everything, don't you, in a smaller company?
Turn your hand to all sorts.
Yeah. Typically in a smaller company, the finance manager is in charge of, random things that you've got no kind of knowledge of, like IT.
If in doubt, give it to the finance.
Give it to finance. IT, cleaning, HR. They're kind of the typical ones you get, and you think, why am I doing this? Reception's the other one. Phones, just random things. Insurance.